Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. Happy New Year's Eve. I hope that everybody has whatever plans that you guys have tonight. I hope that you stay safe. I hope everybody is responsible. Please, folks, please, 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 please. I know I sound like a broken record with this, but please do not get behind the wheel if you drink tonight. Do not do it. It is not worth it, folks. It just is not worth it. The impact on the rest of your life can be so massive, and never mind the fact that you can change someone else's life in an instant if you get behind that wheel drunk tonight. Please do not do it. Call Uber, call Lyft, take a taxi, whatever it may be. Do not get behind the wheel of your vehicle if you're drunk tonight. I guess that's my PSA, right? Because it's dangerous, folks. There's a lot of people out there driving drunk all the time. And then especially, I know I talked about this a little bit yesterday, especially in Las Vegas. People are driving 75 miles per hour down residential roads and smashing into other people. And, I don't want to hear about any of you folks getting into an accident or anything like that. It's just, let's go into the new year on a good note. Let's start it off the right way. Nice and responsible when you're out partying tonight, folks, please. Also, we have an article today about another woman who is accusing Jeffrey Epstein of assault. Now, how many times are we going to see this, folks? How many women are going to come forward and accuse Jeffrey Epstein's estate of abuse? Again, it shows us that his horrific crimes spanned over such a period of time and encompassed so many different people that it is just mind-boggling to think about. And I can't even wrap my head around it, folks. No matter how much research we do, no matter how much we talk about it, I cannot wrap my head around the fact that Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and the rest of the horrible people that were around him were able to get away with this for so long. Now, there is no way that anyone on this planet can convince me that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were not being run by intelligence. Okay? That is my opinion, and I stand firm in that opinion. That is exactly where the evidence has led us. That is exactly where the evidence has led us. Everything you hear about Ghislaine Maxwell, especially the article we read last night, how she's being protected by powerful people, how they're harboring her, etc., it all falls into place with the intelligence angle. Normal rich people aren't afforded this sort of anonymity, right? If you're rich, you can't hide. People like Harvey Weinstein, when they get caught or whatever, there's no hiding for them. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell, one of the most wanted women in the world at this point, you have newspaper outlets offering rewards for access to her, $10,000 rewards, and still nobody knows where this lady is? Come on, folks, that dog don't hunt. That dog does not hunt. Okay? I don't know how many other ways I can say it. It's BS. I don't buy it. It's lies. Nobody believes you, etc., etc. All right? Just because you're rich doesn't mean that you're going to get the protections that Epstein has received. Look at the rich people that haven't received those protections, and then compare the crimes of some of those other people with what Jeffrey Epstein's accused of, and you're left asking yourself, how the hell was this man able to operate for so long under everybody's nose? All right? How? Nobody can answer that question. There's no other logical answer besides the fact that he was being run and being protected by intelligence. And I know a lot of people want to say, well, it's the Mossad. And look, I agree. I agree that the Mossad was probably running Epstein and Maxwell. They were probably their agents. But if you think that it was done without the CIA giving them the nod, without a case agent overseeing the whole entire operation from the CIA, well, that's very naive. That's a very naive outlook. So, again, the Mossad isn't representative of the Israeli people, just like the CIA does not represent you or I. So when I talk about the Mossad, I certainly do not mean the people of Israel. Israel is one of my favorite countries, and the people of Israel are some of the most loving, welcoming, awesome people I have ever met. And I'm not a big fan when people try and paint Israel as a country that's run by the Mossad. You know, like that everybody in Israel is okay with what the Mossad does. It's not true. It's definitely not true. It's just like America or England. Nobody trusts the intelligence services. The regular citizens of the countries do not trust these intelligence agencies. None of them. They're always involved in all sorts of disgusting and evil and sinister plots that just about every single time blow back on their countries of origin, because these people do not look at the big picture. The means always justifies the end. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. All right, let's check out this article, shall we? It's from The Guardian, and the headline is, Jeffrey Epstein, woman sues estate alleging encounter when she was 14. Lawsuit filed in Florida says teen was approached in 2003 when she was a vulnerable child without adequate parental support. How many times do we see that, folks? How many of these poor young ladies, these poor girls, were from broken homes, had nobody to care about them, were from impoverished situations, and these disgusting, bottom of the barrel human beings took advantage of them? How many times have we seen it? It's their MO. A woman who says she was 14 when she had a sexual encounter with the financier, pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein at his mansion, sued his estate in Florida court on Monday for coercion, inflicting emotional distress, and battery. The lawsuit filed in Palm Beach County asked for an undisclosed amount of money. The lawsuit doesn't give the woman's name and only refers to her as JJ Doe. Do you blame her? Honestly, look what Virginia Roberts has had to deal with. All these girls that have come out, they've been called all sorts of names by sick bastards like Alan Dershowitz and Jay Lefkowitz and all these other super clowns. That's what they are, right? Super clowns. They think they're way more important than they are. They're not really important in the grand scheme of things. Let me ask you a question. If we were starting a civilization after the apocalypse, what priority would you set on having lawyers involved? Not very high, I'm guessing. The woman went to Epstein's Florida mansion in 2003 when she was a vulnerable child without adequate parental support, the lawsuit said. It's heartbreaking to read this over and over, folks. It really is heartbreaking. Honestly, on a daily basis, to read this over and over and over again, and to see that these poor girls, the way they were treated, the way nobody believed them, it angers me. It angers me to a point where I don't think I've ever been this angry. And I don't understand how people can look at this case and shrug their shoulders and move on and move to other things that are nowhere near as important. When you look at the scope of this, the magnitude of this, and the far-reaching ramifications of this whole entire thing, I have no idea how you don't just sit back and say to yourself, holy shit, dude, what the hell is going on here? According to the lawsuit, the teenager was first approached by another teenage girl who offered her $200 to give Epstein a massage at his mansion. At the mansion, she was led to a bedroom where there was a massage table and oils. Epstein entered the room in a towel, laid on the table, and instructed her to take off her clothes as she massaged him, the lawsuit said. Now, can you imagine that? This ugly son of a bitch comes walking in with those nasty wrinkly skin and those hanging moobs, and he wants you to give him a massage. He's in his towel, nasty ass looking mofo. That enough would be enough to scar these kids for life. But now, not only that, he comes in and he makes them touch him as far as other things besides the massage, and he does things to her. And just think about it for a minute. This gross son of a bitch. Out of fear, plaintiff complied with Jeffrey Epstein's commands, the lawsuit said. Epstein then pinched the teenager's nipples, fondled her, touched her between her legs, and masturbated, the lawsuit said. That literally just turned my stomach reading. Pinched the teenager's nipples, fondled her, touched her between the legs, and masturbated, the lawsuit said. This son of a bitch, nobody ever deserved to die more, folks. I have to tell you, I am so glad this man is dead. I am so glad he's dead. But I am not happy that he was not able to give his testimony first. They should have juiced this son of a bitch the second he came in. I don't know if you're familiar with Joe Abercrombie or the First Law trilogy of books, but there is a character named Sandan Glokta, and he's a torturer. I wish they would have given Jeffrey Epstein to Sandan Glokta and let Glokta put him to the question, because Jeffrey Epstein deserved it. He should have been dropped in a black site and tortured, waterboarded the way that some of these terrorists were. That's the way I feel about Jeffrey Epstein. He's not even human to me, folks. If he was still alive and you put me in a room with him for 5 minutes and you gave me carte blanche and said that I wouldn't get in trouble for whatever I did to him, I guarantee you I would walk out of that room and he would not. I promise you that. That's how strongly I feel about how disgusting this man was and how guilty, and not only just guilty, but holding the burden for all of these people that he molested. Just imagine if you had 5 minutes alone with this guy, or imagine for a minute if you were one of these girls' fathers and you were given 5 minutes alone with this guy. That's really what should have happened. The girls' fathers, whoever these girls were that were abused, their fathers should have been given 5 minutes alone with Jeffrey Epstein. Each father, 5 minutes alone. And they should have been able to do what they want to the guy. During the encounter, plaintiff resisted Jeffrey Epstein's advances and demands, yet was assured if she complied, then he would stop and it would end soon, the lawsuit said. Darren Indyke, an attorney for the estate, didn't return an email inquiry for comment. More than a dozen lawsuits are seeking millions of dollars in compensation for women who say they were sexually abused by Epstein, sometimes for years, at his homes in Manhattan, Florida, New Mexico, the Virgin Islands, and Paris. Epstein, 66, allegedly killed himself in New York City prison cell in August after he was arrested on sex trafficking charges. The wealthy financier, pedophile, had pleaded not guilty to sexually abusing girls as young as 14 and young women in New York and Florida in the early 2000s. In lawsuits, women say the abuse spanned decades. Decades, folks, okay? We're not talking about 2 years. We're not talking about a guy who went on a little bit of a criminal run. This guy was engaged in a criminal enterprise of trafficking human beings and abusing young girls for decades, and nobody ever said a word. Nobody stepped up to the plate to protect these young girls. Well, that's a thing of the past, all right? Because we all know what 2020 is, folks. We're sliding into 2020, yelling it from the top of our lungs. 2020 is the year predators turn into prey. Okay? That is what's occurring in the year 2020. Also, folks, I'd just like to say thank you very much. We eclipsed 200,000 downloads of the podcast. That is an insane milestone. 200,000. That means we did 100,000 downloads in 1 month, folks. From November 30th to December 30th, 100,000 downloads. And we're sitting at around 201,000 total downloads right now. And that's all about you, folks. Like I always tell you, this show is about you. It's not about me, it's about we. And I am absolutely humbled and I am absolutely thrilled to be moving forward with this relationship with all of you and busting into 2020 and starting it off on the right foot with this trip to Santa Fe. We're going to get ourselves whatever answers we can get. We're going to have some nice footage and we're going to keep going, folks. We are going to keep going. 200,000 downloads is a nice milestone. It's a nice marker, but we're not satisfied. We are not satisfied with anything. What we want is justice, and that is exactly what we're going after this year. Every single day, consistently. 87 straight days, folks. 87 straight days talking about this case here with you. That's called consistency. There's not much of that with this coverage. There's not a lot of people that are covering this case the way we are. Nobody has a comprehensive library the way we do every single day on top of these articles. And my motivation behind that is I know that the listeners out there hunger for this knowledge, hunger for this information. So we're going to keep doing it, and we're going to do it even bigger coming up in 2020. We're going to have some more we're going to have some more wiggle room to make things awesome, guys. We're going to bring you more content, a lot more on-site reporting, and it's cracking off. It's happening. We're making it happen, and we're going to make sure that we push for these people to all be brought to justice. And I remember I was talking about launching a Twitter feed, and starting tomorrow, I will have a Twitter account, and we're going to go live with the Twitter account tomorrow. And leading up to New Mexico, we'll be posting on the Twitter account, obviously, and we'll be pretty active on there, I guess. As much as I hate it, and I know it's a cesspool, I feel it's necessary at this point to help the show expand and to reach new audiences. So, again, thank you folks so much for your dedication, your loyalty to the show. Thank you so much for the emails, for keeping me on my toes with the emails, for all the tips that I've gotten in those emails, the leads, and for the people who have donated to the GoFundMe. I cannot even begin to express how grateful I am. It's because of you we're able to go to New Mexico, folks. So everybody who's donated to the GoFundMe, know that you're the reason. You folks are the reason that we're able to go to New Mexico, that we're able to do this, that we're able to get down there and get the footage, the first-hand footage to bring back to you. It's all because of your dedication to this show. And for that, this loudmouth, yappy Yapperton host is extremely and always grateful. Again, everybody, please, 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 please be safe tonight. Enjoy yourselves, but please enjoy yourselves responsibly. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at Bobbycapucci at Proton Mail. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. And also, folks, remember, going into 2020, it's the year. It is absolutely the year that all of this comes to a screeching halt. If you'd like to help support the show, you can do that with the GoFundMe link that will be inside of the description box. Have a great night, everybody. I will see you all later on for the Daily Drop.